Hi guys, it's Mrs. Millison. Um, I wanted to do an example of some methods now that we know our if statements and those types of things. Okay, so I wanted to do a couple more methods, some void methods, some non-void methods, parameters, no parameters, integrating our if else and things like that, just so you can see everything in action, because a lot of the questions you're going to see on AP test have you write methods. Okay, so I want to start practicing that from the get-go. All right, so in here I've got a class called triangle. I've already created it. I've got my instance variables. I have the triangle name and then the length of each of the three sides. Okay, this is my default blank constructor. So if I just create a plain old triangle, it won't have a name and it won't have any sides. We're going to create methods to change the name and to change the sides. Okay. My overloaded constructor here allows me to go ahead and create a triangle with a name and three sides from the beginning and not have to worry about changing the names. Okay. So let's go ahead and use our let's use our constructors to create some triangles, but before we do that, let's build our string to string method, which would overwrite how these triangles would print. Okay, well, actually, you know what? Let's go into our triangle tester, which is another Java file, and this has a main method, and let's create some triangles first, and then we're going to print them and see that you don't really see much, and then we'll go back and do the string to string. Okay. I always forget what my constructors look like. So I have triangle. Okay. Okay, so I am going to create a new triangle. So I think I'm just going to do A, B, C, and D, E, F just for the heck of it, right? Triangle, that's my class name. And I'm going to call this triangle ABC equals new triangle. And this one we'll just do as the default. Whoops. So this should not have anything in it. Okay, so right now, if I print out triangles, I shouldn't see anything. I should see the memory location in the computer because I haven't overwritten that string to string method where it actually prints the values of the name and the three sides. Sorry, why is this taking so long to compile? Not sure why this is taking so long. What's going on? Okay, don't know what happened there. Let's run it. Okay, oh God, it's gonna run it twice. So see when I print it, sorry guys. When I print it, it gives the memory location. Okay, there we go. It's not really telling me the name of the triangle. So I need to hop back to my class file and I'm going to create my first method. And we've seen these, I'm just kind of going over it. And this is going to be our string to string method. So our method is going to be public and I'm going to put a data type, okay, a variable type. Constructors don't have that, okay? And then toString is just the default name. Okay, so this is going to be my method that's going to overwrite when I print my triangle so that I can see the name and the sides, not the memory location. Okay, so it is a non-void. I do have to have a return statement since I'm going to return a string. And my string is just going to be triangle name has sides 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so triangle name has sides, oops, side 1. I guess we'll put commas between the sides. Side, 2, and side 3. Okay, hopefully I got my syntax right. Let's compile and see if it's right. It'll tell me if it's wrong. Okay, good. I didn't miss any pluses or quotes. So now when I go back to my tester, now when I run it and I print, it will use the string to string method to print triangle null has side 0, 0, and 0 because I used the empty constructor, and it shouldn't have anything. It shouldn't have any names. There we go. Triangle null has side 0, 0, 0. Okay, so let's build two methods to change the name and change the sides, okay, of our triangle ABC, or of all triangles. So I'm going to come back to my triangle class, okay, watch my files over here. Now, all I'm doing is changing values. So these are going to be void methods. I'm not actually going to return anything. I'm just going to reassign the value of name and then sides 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so again, it will be public, but it will be void. Okay, so we'll call this change name. Oops. Now in here, I need a parameter. I need to know what to change the name to, okay? And it has to match the data type. So my name is a string. So this parameter type has to be a string. And I'm just going to put n for the new name. Okay, let me open and close my. And all I'm going to do is take this n, the new name that I'm putting in, and assign it to my instance variable name, okay? So I'm just going to do name equals n. Okay, there's no output that's going to occur. That's why it's a void method. Let's do the same thing and change all the sides. Okay, so I'm going to do public void change sides. We'll do all the sides at once. Okay, we could do a method for each individual side, but we're just going to do a quick method. Okay, now if I come up here, they'll have to be doubles. Okay, actually we could do an in could go inside a double. We're going to keep them all doubles. Okay, so we're going to have three double parameters, one for each side. Oops, I'm just going to do S1 if that's okay, S2, and S3. And again, actually I need a couple lines. I am just going to take S1, S2, and 3 and assign those parameters that I type in to sides 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so side 1 is going to equal S1. Side 2 is going to equal S2. And side 3 is going to equal S3. That extra space. Okay. So now I've created some methods, some void methods with parameters to change the name and the sides. So let me compile, make sure I didn't have any syntax errors. I'm going to go back to my tester. Okay, now let's go ahead and change the name and the, let's run this, change the name and the sides of this triangle, because right now it doesn't have a name and doesn't have any sides. So if I come down here and I do try ABC, dot operator, change name, and then put the new name in the parameter. Now when I print, might as well do it. Okay, now when I print, I should see ABC, the second line down, of course. Okay, so now I've changed null to ABC that you can see down here. Let me move this up a little bit. But I still haven't changed the sides. So now let's come up and run the change sides methods. And again, object name, triangle ABC, dot operator, change sides method. So now I need three doubles, right? Okay, I think I'm going to do, or I have some examples already worked out. Let's see, 5.1 is the first side. Oops. 7.3, and then 15.9. Okay, so those are my three sides for my triangle ABC. So again, I'm going to copy and paste that print, save myself some typing. So now my third time it prints, I should see ABC with 5.1, 7.3, and 15.9. So very good. So this was me creating the empty triangle. This line was me changing the name, and then here's my last line where I change the name and the sides. Okay, so I really don't have to print all these. You know what I'm going to do? Just for time's sake and when it's going to be printing, I'm going to comment these other print lines out, if that's okay. All right. Let's go ahead and jump back to our class file and let's build some more methods, okay? Let's say we want to build a method that determines if the triangle is a triangle, okay? And let's go back to the tester so we can look at these numbers. How do we know if three lengths can form a triangle? Well, if the first two sides are the two smaller sides, their sum is greater than the longest side, then it's a triangle. But if the sum of these first two sides, or the two smaller sides, is less than the larger side, it can't be a triangle, okay? So we're going to build a method to assess that, okay? So I want to have a output. I want a true and false output. I want true that this is a triangle, and I want false that it is not a triangle. Okay, so it's not going to be a void method. It's not going to have a void return. It's going to have a Boolean return. Okay, and we're going to call this method is a triangle. Okay, I'm not going to put any parameters in it because I don't need to. I just want to grab whatever triangle I'm looking at, triangle ABC, triangle DEF, which we haven't created yet, and I want it to evaluate whether it is a triangle or not. So it'll always come back and look at the instance variables, the sides 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's use an if statement. So basically, if side 1 and side 2 added up is greater than side 3, it is a triangle. If not, then it's not. Okay, so let's do an if statement. So if, and let's see, side 1 plus side 2, let me put some space in here just so we can see. If side 1 plus side 2 is greater than side 3, then you know you have a triangle. Agreed? Ooh, took my spacing. Okay, so if that is true, I want it to say false. Excuse me. I want it to say true. So I need my return because this is a non-void method, so I do need a return statement. My void methods, I didn't need a return statement. So I'm just going to return true. Okay. Now, if it's not true, if side 1 plus side 2 is not greater than 3, I want to return false. So now I'm going to do my, else. I don't know why my spacing is all weird. Oh my goodness. So if this is not true, oops, forgot my parentheses. If this statement is not true, I want it to return false. Okay, now I couldn't have returned the value of side 1 plus side 2, okay, or the value of side 3, because I needed a Boolean. My output method, my output type is a Boolean, so I have to return true or false, and that's it. Okay, all right, so let me close this method. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and run this on our triangle ABC. Let me compile first. Oh, I have an extra. Because that's mine. Let me check my brackets. Yep, got a little extra bracket in there. Let me get rid of him. That's why I like all these editors. They color code everything, so it's nice to see. All right, so let's come back here and let's determine if ABC is a triangle. Okay, now I can just type it straight out. Okay, I'm going to do this one as just typing straight out. Okay, so system dot, I'm not going to save it as a variable. I'll do that in the next one. So I'm going to say, is ABC a triangle? Question mark, space. And then what I want to do is I want to take triangle ABC dot and run that method. Of course, I forgot what the method was called. I'm so bad at remembering. Is a triangle. Okay. Is a triangle. Because you got to get your syntax correct. Okay. So this will take the triangle ABC, look at its sides, and run it through the method. So, of course, I need to close my println statement. And now let's think about this. 5.1, 7.3, what is that, 12.4? Well, 12.4 is not greater than 15.9. So this should not be a triangle. This should come back as false. And indeed, it did. Okay. If I change one of these, and we're going to make another triangle that is a triangle, but we'll see what happens. Okay, last method I want to make is if it is a triangle, I want to know the perimeter. Okay, so I'm going to create another method another public method with the perimeter, okay? But I want it to output the perimeter. So what's the perimeter going to output as? A string, an int, a double? It's going to be a double, right? Because when I add up all the sides that are doubles, it'll be a double. So I'm going to call this triangle perimeter. And again, I don't need any parameters for this because when whatever triangle I'm going to run this method with, it'll just use the sides associated with that triangle. Okay. So what I really want to do is run this method inside of this method. If this method ends up being true, I want it to just add up all the sides. But if this method ends up being false, I guess I'll just yield maybe a 0, okay, for no parameter. Okay, so I'm going to say if, and I'm just going to run this method, is a triangle. And again, I don't need equals true because that's the default. If you have a Boolean expression in your if statement, if you don't put equals true, then it's going to assume that you want true. So if it is indeed a triangle, all I want to do is add up the sides, okay, because it is a triangle. So I'm going to return, again, I need a return statement because it is a non-void method. I'm just going to do side 1 plus, let me put some space, oops, side 2 plus side 3. Okay, now if it's not a triangle, I do need an else return, okay, because I would like an else return. I guess you don't need it, but I would like one. I'm going to return 0.0, okay, so that'll indicate to me that it doesn't have a perimeter because it's not a triangle, okay. Did I close my method? I did not. Wait, is that it? Yes, I did. So you got to keep track of those brackets. Give this some space. If you keep your spacing and your brackets all lined up, it just makes everything so much easier. Okay, good. All right, don't have any errors, yay. So let's come back to our tester. Now, we already know that this one's not a triangle, so if I run the perimeter, I should get 0.0. Let me see, because it's not a triangle, right? So it would have been the else. So triangle ABC, of course I forgot what the method was called, triangle perimeter. Triangle perimeter. Close my brackets for my method, close my bracket for my println statement. So again, ABC is not a triangle. I should get a perimeter of 0, okay, because it'll go to the else statement in my if statement. Okay, there we go. All right. Now let's go back to our, well, now we're in our tester. Let's create a triangle that is it is a triangle so we can see the perimeter working. Okay, so I'm just looking at my notes, making sure I've got everything. Okay, let's create another triangle. Come down another line. Triangle. I'm going to call this DEF equals new triangle. Now this one, I'm not going to do a default and change the name and the sides. I'm going to come back and I'm going to use my overloaded constructor. Go a little bit more. I'm going to use this constructor where when I create the triangle, I'm going to state the name and its sides. So it's done. Okay. So the name is going to be DEF. Side 1 is 2.7. Side 2 is 6.8. And our last side, and you'll notice I am doing the last side as the largest side. Okay. So first of all, let's print. And we'll see that string to string method at work. Okay. I'm going to print after every single one, okay? Just so we can see it. There's my triangle DEF, has sides 2.7, 6.8, and 8.1. Now, let's see if it's a triangle. And I'm just going to, I should have copied and pasted, huh? Is DEF a triangle? Question mark. And now I'm going to do triangle DEF. is a triangle. Again, calling that method. Now let's talk about this. 2.7, 6.8. So 6, 7, 8. So that's 9.5. Well, 9.5 is greater than 8.1. So this is a triangle. This should come back as true. And indeed it does. Okay. Just to do something a little different, I'm going to run my triangle DEF triangle perimeter method as its own variable. Okay, so I'm going to create a new variable for this called DEF perimeter. Okay, so when I run my triangle perimeter method off of triangle DEF, I'm going to save it as a variable, and then I'm going to print that variable just to do something different to remind you that you can do that. Okay, a lot of times I put stuff in a println statement just to get it out fast. DEF perimeter is, oops, trying to follow what I did above. And then I'm just going to grab this variable, DEF PRIM. Now, let's talk about this. Since it is a triangle, it came back true, it should give me a perimeter. So let's see, what was 2.7, 6.8, 6, 7, 8, 9.4? No, 9.5 plus 8.1, so that's 17.6. Okay, let's look. Hey, look, it worked. Okay, so when this when this triangle perimeter method ran, it first ran the is a triangle. Let's go back. It first ran is a triangle, and since it was true, it returned the total of the sides for triangle DEF. Remember, for triangle ABC, it returned 0 because is a triangle was false. Okay. Okay, I know this probably looks like a lot, but I just want to expose you to writing methods because that is what you're going to be doing mostly on the AP tests. Is they'll give you a method signature. Okay, they'll give you a method signature. They'll give you the instance variables. And they'll usually give you the constructors. And they want you to develop the method, what goes inside of the method code. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to see an example with an if statement since we just covered that. Okay, so as we learn all this stuff, it just keeps combining and combining and combining so we can do more robust coding. All right, great. See you guys next time.